I had a customer today who I almost thought was Wunmi Masaku. She looked like her, she sounded like her. I almost asked her. I almost went, "You seem so familiar. Do I know you from something?" But no, I didn't ask. And I doubt it was her. Well, there's a chance that she'll come back someday. Maybe. And if she gives me her name, if she does come back, then I'll know for sure. But I highly doubt that was her. Anyways, hi there, Derpy. Good to see you. I got a good couple of shinies earlier today in not Pokemon Go, but Legends ZA. I can't remember if it was last night or earlier today. I got another shiny Fletchling. Hoorah. And then today, while I was trying to reset, map reset for an Alpha Shroodle, because I'm still working on my Alpha decks, I ended up getting a shiny one instead. And then, while I was going for an Alpha Flamigo, same thing, a shiny Flamigo. Earlier, you were beating up Venusaur? Nice. Is there any that you missed, or are you just doing these for the fun of it? Because I have one in mind I'm going to rematch and claim vengeance upon. For fun and the Herbas? Nice. Is this thing centered? Alright, let's hope Shiny Tornadus shows up, because I would like to move on. Even if it's moving on to the next thing I'll be shiny hunting and I'll still be doing the same thing, I would like to move on nonetheless. Also, the cheese to beat Venusaur is too fun not to use. Really, what's the strategy? You know, it really is a bit of a shame to see this era go. It was fun while it lasted. I guess RIP to the, the potential that could have been 7-star Mightiest Mark Hisuian Gudra. We got the Hisuian starters, but no love for Hisuian Gudra. They just did all the base forms for the powerhouses, and just called it a day. Damn, I would have liked to see Hisuian Gudra. Where's my Hisuian Gudra justice? And I've been seeing people online saying the grand finale to close off this game's lifespan should have been Shiny Koraidon and Miraidon raids. While I agree, well, they did give us the mystery gifts for that, even though they botched that hard. They gave it to us nonetheless. And yes, I know, it's not your OT, you couldn't choose what ball to catch it in, but we know how Pokemon are. They usually like saving their box legendaries to be shiny huntable. If not the next generation, then the one after. Patience, my friends. One day, we will be able to shiny hunt them for ourselves. And I will be here doing it when that happens. Probably. Sap Sipper Hisuian Gudra. Hisuian Gudra again! Sap Sipper Hisuian Gudra holding an air balloon. You're immune to all of Venusaur's attacks. Wow. Perhaps they did have Hisuian Gudra in mind, just not you getting it. Well, you not getting it with the mark. You know, you have to wonder. You have to wonder sometimes, because I wonder this. The people working over at Game Freak HQ, they give us these battles. Do you think they just slap on a random moveset and be like, well, the fans will figure it out. They always do. There's so many options for them to use, they'll figure something out. Do you think they make these without thinking to themselves what the best strategy is? Do you think they're surprised by what the fans come up with? Like, wow, they decided to use that build against this. We never thought about that. Like, what was it? Using Dosh Bun for Hisui and Typhlosion? Literally just one move. You think they thought about that or no? You think they were surprised when the fans came up with that strategy? Like, wow, our fans are smart. They're creative. Sap Sipper for grass, Steel stops poison, and Air Balloon stops ground. That strategy does sound pretty impressive. I don't even remember what I used against Venusaur. When do you think Pokemon Home is going to update for ZA? Because I would like it to happen very soon. Oh, I forgot about this wait. I forgot about this waiting period for Home to update. It's been a long time since the last time we had to wait for one of these. The main move is Curse Gyro Ball. So you have the resistance up, but you don't really have a super effective move, do you? Because Gyro Ball's not super effective. But as long as you don't take damage, then who cares? I wonder if this will go on forever, or how long will it last for? So the way it seems like it's going to work now is every week we get another starter. We don't know about the other ones for now. You know, the Pseudos, the Mewtwo, the one random Iron Bundle that we had. We don't know about the rest yet. For now, it just seems like it's the starters. How long do you think it's going to go for? Me personally, what I would like to see for the very end of the support for Scarlet and Violet is that it's random. The 7 stars are always going to show up in game, but it's random. Every time you do the date skip, another one pops up somewhere around the map, but it's random. Completely random what previous 7-star Mightiest Mark you get. If that's the case, I will definitely be playing the game, what is it, like 8 more times? So I can get my hands on more EVs. So that it would have my OT. That's a lot of work. You know how much work it puts in to unlock the 7-star Mightiest Raids? Anyway, so we have a lot of stuff to talk about today, a lot of good stuff. But it does massive damage as the slower you are to your opponent, the more damage you do. Curse lowers your speed to -6, and Venusaur sets up Sun activating its Chlorophyll, doubling its speed. This is too much brain power that I don't have the capacity for. Oh god, that scared me. I didn't know that was on. Yeah, that's too much thinking and strategizing. That is out of my league. Sorry, I'm just looking at stuff over here. Hold on, let me do a quick count real quick. The Mega Dimension DLC has 112 available alphas you can catch. Let me count how many I had, because when I counted earlier, I think I had 52. Oh no, 54. And I've gotten a few since I did that count earlier today, so let me see. Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gonna add these all up, because I can't do that mental math. Out of 112, I have 62 alphas. That is a little bit over halfway. You might think that's a good thing. You're over halfway done. Just the same amount of time you spent getting those alphas. Just one more of that whole time, and you're done. Well, you have to keep in mind, a handful of them are exclusive to the special scans, which take quite a while. On my main file, I did get the special scan that gets me Meloetta. Thankfully, it's not one that I can shiny hunt, so I can just go ahead, catch it, and be done with it. I really am running out of berries that prioritize sweet, because I keep using them for alpha power. So, I need to grind. Yippee, as if this game isn't all grinding. So my guess is they're going to go in Pokédex order for the starters. Sorry. Venusaur first, Charizard second, Blastoise third, etc. That's gonna be a long time. There's a lot of starters. And, well, if they really do it that way, then, if you're expecting a specific alpha, if you're expecting a specific starter that is way down the line, too bad for you. Just be patient. Like the particular starter that I am planning to rematch. Yeah, that's way back in the list. So I'm going to be waiting quite a while, which is fine. I got other things to do in the meantime. Who are you wanting to fight again? Out of every single Mightiest Mark that we've had, there has only been one, a single one, that I could not beat on screen. I beat it on my own. This is the only one that I was not able to win against on screen. And that was Cinderace. It was early on. We didn't really know how it all worked just yet. We had Charizard and Greninja first, and then Wait, no. Didn't Cinderace come second? No, Cinderace was second. Literally the second one we ever had, I think. We had Charizard, and then we had Cinderace. So we still weren't familiar with the system just yet. And Cinderace was the only one I was not able to win against on screen. You use Slowbro for Cinderace? I don't even remember what I did. But this time, I'll be ready. Years of waiting for Cinderace to return as the mightiest mark. Waiting for my opportunity of redemption. Can you believe it? Out of everything that we've had, the only one I wasn't able to win against on camera was Cinderace. Not the Mewtwo, not the Hydreigon. No, it was Cinderace. Now that we're done, we can take a look back and really wonder, why do we get some of the ones we got? Iron Bundle, fine. It was for the holidays that one year, but then they didn't give us the rest of the paradoxes. And they gave us a Dondozo for some reason. Can't wait to bully Charizard for a third time with the Zoomeril. It must fill your heart with joy to use one of your favorites. I'm over here on the side, if you can see this. I'm over here on the side trying to catch this Alpha Cubone, because I need this Alpha. I have a Marowak already. I don't remember how. This Marowak knows Thunder Punch. Alright, got it. Oh man, you know what I'm gonna... Actually, no, I can't, because the game auto-saves when you catch things. Stupid game. Because I have the research task here that is... Use the catch window. Oh, I didn't knock it out before I caught it. It is indeed pretty difficult to manage 2 games at once, even if one of them is just resetting for shinies. The game you can't turn off autosave. That tends to be the first feature I disable, yes. You know me, I hate autosave. I despise autosave. It never saves when you want it to, and it always saves when you don't want it to. I hate autosave. I'll start talking about the shows in a moment, because it doesn't seem like No Shame in Feeding is going to show up. Maybe he's ripping open packs again. I have all the research tasks done. Now I need to find the gold Pokeball. I hate this. Okay, I found it. Wow, that was quick. Good, I didn't waste my berries doing this, even if this was a 1-star distortion. Because every time you go into the distortion, if you don't do all the tasks and get the gold Pokeball, it just feels like a waste. Regardless of if you use the shittiest berries or not. My problem is I have too much time and nothing left to do. Yeah, see, that was like my immediate complaint about the DLC. Either you don't have enough time, and if you don't get everything done in time, well, too bad for you, or you have too much time and you've ran out of things to do. So you just wasted the berries that you used. And the biggest blow to the gut is that you control how much time you have. Here, you guys want to see what my progress is like? So this is what my regular Pokedex looks like, not alphas. You can see there's a good number of spaces missing and a couple of things I haven't evolved yet. And here's... oh, wait, no. That's the beginning of the regular Alpha Dex. Here is my DLC alphas. You can see a lot more missing. Yep, I have a lot of work to do. You know, I enjoyed my time going after all the alphas in the base game. DLC, no. No, I don't. You wanna know what else? I've seen hardcore Pokemon players, hardcore Pokemon grinders out there online. Even they say this DLC was too much. This DLC... it's problematic. Before the DLC, Scarlet and Violet and ZA were the only two Switch games to not have the Zubat line. And then Zubat was added in the DLC, leaving Scarlet and Violet the only Switch not to have Zubat. Why are you mentioning Zubat specifically? Do you like Zubat? Do you like the line? I mean, it was in Legends Arceus. But I suppose that's a fun fact. Do you mean in the case like every Switch game prior had the Zubat line? And then Scarlet and Violet broke that until the DLC. Wait, did it? Is it even in the DLC? It's hard to remember now. Oh no! I read your message and it didn't even compute. Zubat was added in the DLC, leaving Scarlet and Violet the only Switch game that did not have Zubat. Took me a second. I got there at the end. It took me a moment, but I got there. However, you know, Zubat almost becoming the Pokemon that was in every Switch title still does not hold the crown to the fact that to this day, Dialga and Palkia are the only two Pokemon in existence that can be caught in every single Pokeball that exists. And that's largely due to the fact that you can catch them in the Origin Ball in Legends Arceus. Well, I just got this. I got this 1-star distortion that has Sandy Gas in it, which I do need for my Alpha Dex. Thankfully, 1-star distortions, I don't need no fancy inverted color berries for the time. So I can save my berries and, you know, grind for the alphas. It's gonna take a little longer since there's no boost in the alpha odds, but a small price to pay for salvation. Zubat was in, you know, Let's Go, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, and lastly, ZA. Damn. Zubat was so close to greatness. But it just missed the mark with Scarlet and Violet. Ooh, I also have a Charcadet one too. I do need 3 of those alphas. Won't that be fun? I have another Shrudo, which I need 1 more alpha. I only managed to get 1. Thank you, RNG. Did I tell you about your Alpha Torchic? No, do tell. Is it shiny? Whoa! This is the first I'm seeing this. The Alolan Raichu. I would hunt for it, but not now. No, you found a normal Alpha Torchic and named it Big Nugget. Well, as long as it makes you happy. Can you believe this is the first game since frickin' Gen 7 we've been able to actually catch and shiny hunt a Alolan Raichu, not counting the special event we got in Scarlet and Violet, of which they only did once and stopped and will likely never do again. Alright, well, I'm gonna start talking about these shows. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, Derpy. And if you don't want to hear me talk about these shows, then... well, you can stay if you like. Because I'm probably about to ramble and none of it's gonna make sense to you. Well, considering No Shaman Feeding's not here. I even texted him too, but no reply. He's probably busy tonight. Oh well. You hunted a Alolan Raichu and Let's Go Eevee? That's another thing I plan to do. But I don't want to go back to Legends. What? To Legends? I don't want to go back to Let's Go. It's definitely on my shiny hunting list, but it's pretty far down at one of the last things for me to do. But make no mistake, one day I do want to go back and do all of the regional trade evolution shiny hunts in Let's Go. I just really don't want to do it. But it's on my list of things to do. What? List of things to do. Okay, let's start off with Chainsaw Man. So this one was episode 10. So we're very close to the end. We only have 2 episodes left before I get to witness absolute cinema and whatever movie magic happens in that film. So we open up with Denji and Power paying Hayakawa a visit in the hospital. That doesn't really help with explaining what happened to him in the last episode, because he straight up just vanished in the last episode. Power vanished too, but at least there was a line in the last episode saying that she retreated. And I suppose this episode has a line that clarified why she retreated. She said she was hungry and went for some blood. Alright. So you would think that when Hayakawa was by Denji's side when he was in the hospital cutting up apples for him, you would think that Denji would pay him the same kind of courtesy. Nope. Nope, he was just munching on the apples that were already there. He and Power even got into a fight for the apple, which I thought Power wasn't a fan of, plants. But whatever. So Hayakawa wakes up and asks the two, how many survived? Well, Denji mentions Konobi survived, this other guy, and some nerd who, quit not long after. We saw that in the last episode. But you know what name he did not mention survived? Himeno. So, Power and Denji, they leave. And Hayakawa, well, he's not taking the news very great. He tries to light up a cigarette, but then he just reflects on the person that he lost. Are you winning? I wish. So he picks up his sword, which is just by his hospital bed. I'm surprised they even let him have that in there. But in this world swarming with devils and knowing that he is a devil hunter, I guess they let him keep that sword with him, even in the hospital. Whatever. So he almost draws the blade and asks the cursed devil how much time he has left. Hayakawa only has 2 years left to live. Yeesh, that sounds very Attack on Titan, doesn't it? And his death will be glorious. He is burdened with glorious purpose. So he gets a visit from new character 1 and new character 2. Kuros and Tendo, those two. Once again, it kind of seems awfully late to be introducing new characters, don't you think? And the fact that we haven't gotten a new season in over 3 years. So, as Denji and Power leave, Denji kind of reflects, hey, wait a second. The very attractive, very busty woman who almost made me a man, she's gone now. But Denji realizes, I'm not crying. I don't really feel that bad. And that's with Himeno's death. Would I cry if Power was dead? Nah, probably not. Would I cry if he were to die? Hayakawa, but he doesn't know. Nobody knows how much time he has left. He wonders, would he be sad if Makima died? He'd probably be bummed for like 3 days, but then he'll just go on and continue enjoying life. And, oh my god, do my eyes deceive me? A moment of reflection for Denji himself? And also, yeah, he mentioned that it was sad when Pochita died. Denji's thinking, maybe there is a part of me who's dead. Maybe a part of my heart really is gone. Because Denji kind of doesn't feel anything anymore. At least to that degree. So, Kurose and Tendo, not Nintendo, they have a conversation with Hayakawa. They kind of point out, you can either... They're just like, we don't know how much time you have left, considering you have a contract with the Cursed Devil. So, you can either retire and enjoy whatever time you have left, or you can continue this very dangerous path where you will probably encounter more heartache, more grief, and try to kill the Gun Devil. And of course, Hayakawa, he is stern. He's just like, the devils that killed my family and friends are still out there. What do I have to retire for? So, he's still in. The two new characters, they're just like, alright, but to do this, you're gonna need to make some more sacrifices. So as they leave, someone pays Hayakawa a visit, but we don't learn who she is just yet. So Denji and Power, they go to the giant field of tombstones, where I think Makima was there too. Makima was introducing them to their new trainer, their new higher up. It's whatever this guy's name was, the superior to Himeno. Whatever this guy's name is, because I don't think we learned his name yet. And even if we did, I don't remember it. So this new guy questions Denji and Power. He does the whole Rick Grimes 3 questions. And these two answer everything wrong. They're just like, do you grieve the people you lost? Nah, not really. Do you seek revenge? Nope. Which side are you on? Human or devil? Whichever is the winning side. They answered everything wrong. And the dude says, you got everything correct. You pass. Perfect. Because these two are a special breed. These two are one of a kind. They're super powerful and have absolute no care in the world. So these two are ultra powerful and also, well, have potential to be ultra powerful. And also the fact that the Gun Devil is after the Chainsaw's heart, which, you know, that's... if you plot the right maneuvers, then it is an advantage. So, whatever this dude's name is, I really don't know his name. I see here in the episode description, he's literally just called Devil Hunter from Division 1. We've been following Division 4 this whole time, and this dude being Division 1, we see just how serious and how badass he is. Because it looks like he's going in for a hug, giving these two a hug, but no, he's actually choking them out. Straight up snapping their necks to where they're paralyzed. And he just happens to have a blood bag on him. Dude really was prepared for this. Gave the two a nice little swig. And just a nice little taste of blood. They are back up on their feet. By the way, I didn't even mention yet that they kind of just brushed over the fact that Denji was kind of severed from the torso up in the last episode. In this episode, he's fine. He is completely fine. So this Devil Hunter from Division 1 straight up says that Denji is immortal and Power is nearly immortal. So I suppose that Denji has regenerative powers. Unless I missed something earlier, I don't think they ever mentioned that. They may have hinted at it, but they didn't straight up mention it. They did have his arm severed off, but then they found the arm, and I'm assuming reattached it, which I think they did. But that was an arm. That was not the entire bottom half of the body. And I'm going to assume that Denji takes a good bit of time to regenerate his body Deadpool style. So it seems like a little bit of time has passed since the previous episode. Anyways, so Devil Hunter from Division 1 is stating like he is probably the best Devil Hunter out there. And if there is a devil out there who can beat him, then that devil is the strongest devil. And as the guy who's training Denji and Power, he won't stop until these two are exactly that, stronger than him. And this dude is a force of nature himself, because from this day on, he is hunting the two. So Denji and Power, they try to attack him, and then this guy just immediately obliterates them, barely an inconvenience. He just swiftly stabs Denji 3 times through the torso and then 1 straight up the chin. And then just slits Power's throat without even batting an eye. Not even a sweat. No anything. So that is their assignment for the day. Okay, so Hayakawa is following the 2 new characters down this very convoluted escalator. Or not escalator. Very convoluted elevator down to what looks like the boiler rooms. What level was that for the back rooms? Level 141. So they took this very convoluted elevator down to level 141 of the back rooms. And I find it ridiculous to believe that they have devils captured there, like ultra powerful monsters down there. in just like piss poor cells. Because Hayakawa needs to make a contract with the future devil. Just the name alone, you would think that is an ultra powerful devil. These new characters said that only 2 other agents in public safety have contracts with the future devil. One cut their lifespan in half, and the other lost both eyes and the sense of taste and smell, I think. So these contracts do demand a lot. And honestly, what does Hayakawa have left to give up? Right? He has 2 years left to live. He will give up pretty much everything. Well, that's not important to take down the Gun Devil. Hayakawa doesn't need, let's see, he doesn't need smell, taste, maybe not necessarily the sense of touch. I mean, he needs his legs, he needs his arms, like, he needs his eyes to be able to hunt down the Gun Devil, so all of that stuff is a necessity. I mean, he has no more lifespan to give up. He has 2 years left. At this point, he needs all he needs all he can have to hunt down the Gun Devil. Oops. And yeah, I find it absolutely ridiculous they have the future devil locked up down there. For God's sake, it's not even sealed up airtight. There's a hole with bars. There's a window. I don't know. I haven't seen the future devil yet because all we see of this thing is just an eyeball in the dark. Maybe this thing is all brains and no brawn, has no physical ability to escape. So, the whole day has passed. It is now nighttime. Denji and Power have been fighting Devil Hunter from Division 1 all day. It is now nighttime. Denji, after the dude said, that'll be it for today and leaves, Denji, I don't know what was going on with him. His brain hasn't fully healed yet. So Power was just bashing his face in, demanding that his brain heals. It turns out that Denji has died like 20 times that day, at least to Power's count, when she wasn't unconscious. So Denji has died quite a lot that day. So as Power and Denji do the long walk back to civilization, they come up with plans on how to take down Devil Hunter from Division 1. They're saying he's all brawn, but we have brains. We can outsmart him, and that's how we do it. And so they plan an ambush at the guy's home. And for some reason, they put on glasses. They did that, and there was kind of no point to doing that. They didn't even try to Clark Kent the guy. So they put on the spectacles for absolutely no reason. Power was inside of his home doing an ambush, which he, for absolutely no reason, should have been able to dodge. Like, he dodged all of them with precision, despite not even knowing where the projectiles were coming from, not even knowing projectiles were coming for him. So he honestly should not have been able to dodge those, but yeah, bro is just him. So Power throws a spear of blood through the door, and he just able to agilely dodge that, as if he was in a dancing music video. She has bottles of blood on top, so she uses that to spear down. Power stomps the ground, yeah. He could hear everything, perhaps, but it's not explained. He can hear the bottles crumbling. But it's not explained that he can hear them. No. He explains why they failed, why their attack failed afterwards. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking, isn't Power the blood devil? She can control and wheel blood like a waterbender. Why is she just using spears? What? She makes a mallet out of blood. Like, huh? If you can basically Green Lantern anything you want just with blood, you would think you would easily be able to conjure up anything. But she chooses a hammer and some spears? And don't think I forgot the power, her limitations. Power is a dumbass. Don't think I forgot about her limitations, where she can only control her blood, not the blood of anyone else. At least, not very well. So, why not use the blood to, like, I don't know, instead of creating projectiles to do blunt damage or pierce the body, why don't you, I don't know, make the blood go into the person's mouth and fill their lungs? Or make, like, a lasso of blood and just toss the guy off the building. Last I checked, this guy can't fly. So anyways, as Power, all her blood attacks fail, Denji just jumps out of nowhere, tries to swing an axe at him, and he swiftly dodges and just kicks him across the face, knocking off those glasses of his, which, what was even the point? And then this dude explains why their plan failed. Denji did not expect to be attacked? Like, Denji only expected to win, not that he would be attacked back? Okay. And then Power, that one makes more sense. Power, because she can only control her own blood, she loses too much of her own blood. She just, her body kind of fails to function. So he just walks away from his own home. Last I checked, he was going back to his home, but whatever. He walks away, and as a final fuck you to Denji, he just throws his knife straight into Denji's head. I can get Denji having a harder time taking this guy down, but Power, she should be able to take this guy down relatively easily. I know it's not necessarily easy to get tools like this, but think about this for a second. What if she just reserves a ton of her own blood? As her body generates more, she will have like an entire swimming pool of blood that she can control. But you need a very specific environment to keep blood fresh and usable, which I don't think Power has access to. But then how did she remove so much blood from her body to where she had like half a dozen of 1 liter bottles ready on the standby and still function? Because that's a lot of blood to lose, and she was moving just fine until her attacks failed. Then she had not enough blood for her body to function. So, like, how was she functioning before the attack if she lost all that blood? Huh? Whatever. But yeah, Power should be easily able to smoke this guy. But I guess he's just him. He's just too good. He's been hardened by all the experience of devil fights. Let me see, did I miss anything from this episode? He's the best for a reason. Well, if he's the best, why isn't he on the case against the Gun Devil? Wouldn't you want the best against one of the most powerful devils out there? Like, if you're reserving him, if you're gonna argue he probably is, well, we haven't heard of that yet. Like, if they're reserving him because he's the best for really big threats, what bigger threat is there than the Gun Devil? I mean, let's think about it. What other things could potentially be more dangerous than a Gun Devil? Remember, by the looks of it, anything can be a devil. What, an earthquake devil? A tsunami devil? An asteroid devil? But those are all natural disasters. What about something man-made? A nuclear bomb devil? What else is man-made and super deadly? Nukes don't exist in the... You're kidding me, right? Nukes don't exist in this world? Well, if nukes don't, then surely grenades and other explosives do. It doesn't even have to be explosive weapons. What about just explosives in general? A gas leak and a spark lights up. The Explosion Devil. Explosion Devil, is that Michael Bay? Anyways, did I miss anything else from this episode? I do like seeing the fact that Denji and Power are getting closer, working together better, even if the two of them won't admit it. Oh, yeah, there's also one more thing that I thought about. So, they realize that this guy, he's no joke. He's gonna keep on hunting us, keep on killing us. It's gonna be painful. Life is gonna suck until we find a way to beat him. Power even suggests the idea, like, should we flee? Should we run away from this life? And Denji says, no, we can't, because if we do, then public safety will hunt us down, and this time we'll get the devil treatment. They will hunt us down with the intent to kill. And I'm just thinking, wait a second. That guy just said these two are damn near immortal. You can kill them all you want, but they'll just spring back up. And as you can clearly see, the two of these guys, they're not really that big of a threat. So, like, if they were to flee, what would be the point of hunting them? Sure, you can lock them up, but why? They're not going to cause any harm, maybe Power. But Denji? What's the point of hunting him down? You know? He's not going to hurt anyone, he just wants to live his life. And you can't kill him. You wound him, he just heals. Denji has his uses. But even if you hunt him down, even if you capture him, unless you promise boobs and sex, then you can't really convince him to work. I mean, what are you gonna do? Threaten the people he loves? He doesn't care if they die. What are you gonna do? Chop off his limbs and torture him? He doesn't really care. So, like, if they were to be hunted down for fleeing, what's the point? The point is they have him and not some other group. Yeah, but that implies Denji would work for said other group. I mean, if you think about it, Denji, his answer when being asked, humans or devils, which side are you on? He's just like, whichever wins. I guess, you know, they wouldn't want him on the devil's side, but not like the devils would accept him anyways. They're all trying to kill him for his heart. Denji is like the easiest person to manipulate. Yep. Like I said, you dangle boobs and sex in front of him. That's you don't even need that. Just promise him good food and that's all he needs. He'll work for anyone. You know very well, devils, they won't promise him food for his loyalty and services. They'll probably threaten him, Denji, you will serve me or else. And he'll just be like, nah. Oh, and one last thing. I know for a fact I ain't tripping. I know for a fact now that, yes, every single opening sequence has a little bit of difference. I swear to God I'm not tripping. Because I watched this episode's opening, and I swear there were scenes that were not in the previous one. So there are differences in the opening, and don't you gaslight me into thinking there's not. The ending is obviously different, but the beginning... Pixar didn't happen. Anyways. If there's nothing else to discuss about this episode, then let's move on, because we have some other good stuff to discuss. Only 2 episodes away from absolute cinema. So the last episode of The Sandman, we discussed how Dream went to meet his parents, Dialga and Palkia, I mean Time and Night, the rulers of time and space. Let's see, this episode, we actually open up, episode 8, by the way. This episode we open up with Nuala and her brother Klurikan returning to Fairy, but the only reason Nuala wants to return to Fairy is to gather the army to aid Lord Shaper in the conflict that comes. Also, Klurikan, bit of a dick move for this, but also, you know, doing this for the best interest of his sister. Klurikan kind of puts his glamour onto her so that her appearance and her voice can be altered to the liking of Queen Titania. But we know that Nuala does not prefer this appearance. She returns to Fairy, and Queen Titania seems a little suspicious. You know, she seems like she's scheming something. She even points out the gem, the necklace that Dream gifted to Nuala, and even asks that, like, if I were to ask you for it, what would you say? And obviously Nuala, she cannot, or will not. So anyways, we see Dream on his throne, and it almost looked like he fell asleep. You don't really see the endless sleep. I don't know, he's just sitting on his throne with his eyes closed. And he gets a visit from Despair. We haven't seen much of Despair. Despair and Dream talk. Dream reveals to her that the next Dream of the Endless will be Daniel Hall. But then Despair's just like, what? Daniel Hall? Uh-oh. Looks into one of her mirrors and sees the fact that, you know, the parents of Daniel, Rose and Hippolyta, I forgot her name last time, Rose and Hippolyta are full of despair right now because their son is gone. I don't remember if this was mentioned in the first season or not, or if I just completely forgot. Hippolyta is the granddaughter to the frenzied ones. I guess I forgot about that. And well, as Despair and Dream view Rose and Hippolyta, well, who else shows up but Loki and Puck, posing as cops, as detectives. Also, I kind of, last time I said I'm not familiar with Puck. He was the character from a couple episodes ago with the flashback to Fairy. Well, not Fairy, but flashback. Yeah, whoops. My bad. I guess he escaped Fairy and is now in a relationship with Loki. So these two are posing as detectives who vow they will find the missing child despite the fact that they're the ones who took him. And Puck plants evidence that, like, really? They didn't see this? They didn't see that wasn't there prior? Puck plants, as evidence, a little pile of sand. You know, perhaps left behind by the Sandman when he took the child. Because later on, it's revealed in the episode, Dream straight up told them that he would take Daniel Hall as his successor to being Dream of the Endless. Anyway, so Dream sees that there is something bad going on, so now he has another problem he has to deal with. You know, Dream really just cannot catch a break. It's amazing. We see Dream do everything but manage the dreaming. But whatever. Lucienne actually reveals that she's been studying up on the frenzied ones, and she found a little bit of a loophole. The Endless are safe from harm or harassment as long as they remain in their realms. So as long as Dream does not leave his realm, the dreaming, he's safe from the frenzied ones, and thus safe from dying. But now he's in a bit of a pickle. If he stays, he's safe. But then there is no Daniel Hall, and there is no potential heir to the throne, heir to the dreaming, if and when Dream needs to leave again, and then he's killed. Or if he does leave now, he'll be totally out in the open, but he still can go and help Daniel. So what does he do? He goes down to the waking world and seeks the aid of someone, a mortal, who is just as cunning as Loki and Puck, and almost as dangerous. He goes and visits Joanna Constantine, the modern day one, the present day one, not Lady Joanna Constantine from a few centuries ago, her ancestor. I know they're played by the same actress, but like, damn, she is the spitting image of her ancestor. So, just like her ancestor, Constantine asks Dream, what's in it for me if I help you? Because even literally everyone has heard about the Kindly Ones. Like, heard about Dream and the Kindly Ones. So in exchange, Dream offers this Constantine the ability to read her ancestor's journal. You know, the journal that she had and wrote down everything from the previous episodes ago where she helped Orpheus. So yeah, Constantine first reads the journal before she agrees to help. Hippolyta, she gets a dream from her grandmothers, the Frenzied Ones. And they warn her that her son is going to be fed to the flames, whatever they said. And also the fact that she has already met the ones who took Daniel. I mean, how do you explain that the cop who showed up in front of you is Loki himself? Well, we see that Puck has actually taken quite a liking to Daniel. But Loki tries to reassure him, don't get too attached. He is just a pawn in our game. Oh yeah, they also talk about Loki's kids. And how Odin... Yeah, Odin's wasn't very kind to his grandchildren. So Constantine agrees to help. So what they do is they go to the scene of the crime. They go to the manor to investigate. But Dream realizes that this place resides Alex Burgess. Remember the child to Roderick Burgess? The one he put into an eternal sleep back in season 1? But he still isn't willing to wake him up just yet. Hippolyta confronts Dream, saying she actually has the balls to threaten. If anything were to happen to my son, I will kill you. Normally, any mere mortal, yeah, those are empty threats, but the fact that this is Hippolyta we're talking about, granddaughter to the Fates who are already out to kill him, yeah, those threats actually do bear some weight this time. So as Constantine and Dream step outside to really gather their thoughts, Constantine actually, she suggests that everything in there is Dream's fault. You know, the fact that Alex Burgess is in a coma because of him, that Daniel Hall is taken because of his involvement. So Constantine suggests that he goes in there, apologizes, wakes up Alex Burgess. But Constantine is able to figure out, hey, you're not really here to help Daniel. You want to be punished, don't you? You're on a suicide mission, and I won't have it. I will continue the search for Daniel without you. So you scoot on home. You, Dream, you can go home where it's safe for you, and I will continue the search for the child. We see Puck. He tries to leave with Daniel before Loki gets out of the shower, and wow, Loki is very naked here. Very naked. We don't see any meat, but we do see cheeks. While I'm not very interested in seeing naked guys, I do have to compliment this actor. He is ripped, so good for him. Anyways, so Dream pays a visit to Hob Gadling, who is standing over the grave of the woman that he was with a couple episodes ago. Poor Hob. Now that he's been granted eternal life, he's seen all of his wives, his children, his friends, all of them go before him. So this time, once again, Dream speaks to Hob, and he tells him, there's a chance that I may need to not ever see you again, because I may need to be locked away to my own realm just to stay alive. So there's a chance I may never see you again. And, yeah, I can't blame Hob for thinking, man, it's always bullshit with you. Every time you show up before me to tell me you might be gone for a long time, you just show back up again, not long later. So the two of them, they grab a drink and they talk. Where Dream goes over like he's made so many mistakes. But Hob comforts him. You know, I really like the dynamic between these two. Between Dream and Hob Gadling. These two steal the moment every time they're on screen together. It's amazing. I wish we got to see more of Hob Gadling. It would be fascinating to see more of him. But Hob does suggest to Dream, give some sage wisdom, that in all his years of life, he's never once seen a perfect life. And while Dream still has time, maybe it's not too late to fix some of his mistakes. So Dream does just that. He goes back to his realm, and he summons his, I guess, prisoner, kinda, who is Alec Burgess, and he sets him free. Alex is finally able to wake up from his eternal sleep. He wakes up, and he's finally able to go back to his husband. We see Puck trying to return Daniel to his parents, but Dream is standing there waiting. Dream wants Huck to just give him Daniel, but Huck is just like, I'll give him to you on one condition. Free Loki from his obligations to you. Because that deal you made with him was unfair. I'm just like, what do you mean? It's not like Dream is asking him of the world. What? Their deal is simply just when Dream will ask him for a favor, Loki does it, and then that's that. He hasn't even asked of anything yet. And Puck's defense is that Loki is irresponsible and never trustworthy? But unjust. This isn't, Alistair on Rosie's chain. This is simply just asking for a favor and then we're done. And he hasn't even asked a favor yet. But anyways, so Dream is just like, fine. From this day forward, Loki is no longer under my obligation. But then, it's revealed this isn't Dream, it's actually Loki in disguise. I guess Loki wanted to see if his lover would really give up the child that would be like his saving grace. And now that Loki knows that Puck cannot be trusted with Daniel, well, we know how Loki is. Who will you hunt after Tornadus? Thunderous, of course. There's only two more left. Thunderous and Landorus. Dream asks Lucienne for the thing that he asked her to keep safe at the end of Season 1. Because times are desperate right now. This isn't a great idea, but it's kind of their last saving grace. Their only option left. And we know what Dream asked Lucienne to hold on to at the end of the last season. 2 of each, right? You're funny. If I really did need 2 of each, then I would have also needed 2 of Dialga, Palkia, Giratina. Did you really want me to hunt Giratina again? So we see over the fireplace Loki and Puck discussing how much of a good boy Daniel is. They make out, they cuddle. But then Loki being Loki, he is deceptive. He is untrustworthy. Because Daniel is fast asleep. What a very easy baby to take care of. Well, Puck did say that he did sprinkle a little bit of fairy dust to make him sleep better. And the dumbass just straight up put the pouch of fairy dust on the counter where Loki can reach for it. Because Loki does exactly that. He reaches for some of the fairy dust and puts Puck to sleep. Because he says Puck shouldn't be awake for what happens next. And what happens next? Loki goes and grabs Daniel and puts the baby into the fireplace. Loki just burned a baby alive. And of course they don't show the visuals on screen, but the dying baby cries in screaming pain is like, wow, that is uncomfortable, especially paired up with what you believe to be happening on screen, since it's all fiction. Would you mind shiny hunting Landorus in Ultra Moon? That probably would have been my plan anyways. So Loki, posing as the cop, goes up to Hippolyta and is just like, I'm so sorry. We found a burnt body. The burnt body of an infant. But we have pictures, since, you know, they take pictures of the crime scene. None of the police force also question, hey, who are you? Right? You're not part of the police force. So Hippolyta demands to see the pictures of what is probably her burnt up dead son, which we know is the case. And now Hippolyta, well, her son is dead. Yeah, a grieving mother probably will follow through on her promise and find a way to kill Dream, especially if her grandparents, her 3 grandmothers, are the frenzied ones, already out to kill Dream. So it seems like this whole time, the plan of Loki to be free of the one simple favor Dream has yet to ask of him is to take Daniel Hall, because he knows Daniel Hall will be his successor. Kill Daniel Hall so that his mother, Hippolyta, granddaughter of the Fates, will do an even faster job to kill him. And if Dream is dead, well, no more obligations for Loki. He has no strings attached on him, which, like, seriously, Loki? It's one favor Dream would ask of you, and he hasn't even asked it of you yet. Anyway, so what does Dream construct? What does Dream make as their last resort? Lucien hands him the little skull ornament from the end of Season 1. The core of the Corinthian. The Corinthian is back. Dream has crafted a new Corinthian. And it seems like this time, this Corinthian is going to be a little more obedient. The last Corinthian we saw in Season 1, well, he was a little naughty, let's say. Tried to kill his creator. But this Corinthian seems like Dream has made him a little less petty. But we'll see. We haven't seen the Corinthian do anything just yet. But yes, the Corinthian is back. Only this time, let's see how he acts, as opposed to a Season 1 counterpart. So, there you go, Sandman. Pretty good episode. How many more episodes do I have? I don't know if Season 2 is it. I don't know if we're gonna get a Season 3 or not. I guess that depends on how the season ends. This was episode 8. We have 4 more episodes. Because there's 11 episodes in the season and a special 12th episode. So there's 4 left. Can't say the same for Dead Boy Detectives. Because this is the second last episode ever. Episode 7. Which, might I say, was a very excellent episode. This was the best episode I've seen from the show yet. It's kind of sad that the show is canceled. So next episode, episode 8, is the final episode. You know, for as goofy and wacky as this show is, you know, you kind of can't help but grow attached to some of these characters. So, we open up this episode with Esther clawing her way out of the ground, because remember last time, the giant mushroom thing took her down with it. So Esther claws her way back up to the surface and pays a visit to the Cat King. Well, yeah, Esther's pretty pissed that the Cat King ruined her plans for revenge. Kind of interesting how the Cat King just straight up knows about her, teases her, mocks her. And, well, stupidly enough, the Cat King just blurs out to Esther the fact that Edwin survived hell. And she's just like, ooh, that's interesting. Who knows what kind of torture, what kind of trauma, what kind of pain he has from surviving hell. Which means he can endure a lot. Which also means the raw pain, energy that is within him, that can be something good. So Esther now has a new plan. But first, she beats the hell out of the Cat King, beats him to death, but the Cat King just respawns. But just like cats, he can only respawn 9 times, because 9 lives. And that just now was his 3rd life. So we follow back with our characters from the end of the last episode, where the giant demon spider thing literally busts through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man and took Edwin back to hell. It's pretty poorly explained why that even happened. Charles believed it was the night nurse sending him back, even though he just told her straight to her face that Edwin doesn't belong there. It was a technicality. But the night nurse, her idea, her theory on why that thing even happened, why that even happened, why that thing showed up to drag Edwin back to hell, she said, something in my letter must have alerted the demon. Well, that's a pretty piss-poor excuse. She even theorizes it was probably already looking for him. That's a pretty poor way of explaining it. Because of the way the episode ends, you kind of wonder, well, what's stopping that demon spider from just showing up again? But whatever. So Charles is hell-bent on going to hell and saving Edwin. Crystal wants to go along with him, which even I admit that's a stupid idea. Since Crystal is alive, a living mortal going to hell probably ain't the best idea. But, you know, Edwin, how is he going to navigate hell? It's hell we're talking about. Even the night nurse straight up says, it's more than just a fiery wastelands of It's more than just the fiery wastelands of Lucifer. Remember, we met Lucifer. We know what she's like. But lucky for Charles, he has Edwin's journal. How he marked down his escape from hell. So all Charles has to do to find Edwin is work backwards. Edwin has a very detailed map and instructions on how he escaped. All Charles has to do is work backwards. So Crystal offers to go with Charles, and Charles just like, hell no. So Crystal is just like, fine, you won't let me go with you? I'll find my own way to hell. So Crystal leaves, telling Jenny on her way out that she needs to go to hell, and to do so, she needs to find her ex-boyfriend. Jenny's just like, wait a second, the very abusive, dangerous ex-boyfriend of yours? Yup. So Jenny, she can't let that happen. Not on her own, knowing how dangerous Crystal's ex is. So Jenny goes with her and even has a cleaver with her. A big-ass meat cleaver. And I'm just thinking, she didn't lock the store. And she's just gonna walk around in public following Crystal holding a meat cleaver in her hands. Well, it's a small town, I suppose. First of all, the night nurse does not want Charles to go to hell, because that's a stupid idea. Also, Charles kind of can't go on his own. He needs the night nurse to open a portal, open a door to hell for him. But the night nurse very does not want to do that. So Charles makes a deal with her. You do this for me. When I get Edwin back, the two of us will follow you to the lost and found, the aftermath lost and found department. But the night nurse is just rightfully questioning, how do I know you'll trust your word? I don't trust you. You kind of fed me to a fish monster last time. So Nico suggests, why don't you look into his mind like you did before to really see that he is not lying, he's telling the truth. So the night nurse just like, fine. She looks into Charles' mind, and we see play out the very first time Charles met Edwin. Charles was hurt, shivering, hiding from his bullies, and then Edwin shows up before him. Staying by Charles' side, comforting him, talking to him. Telling Charles, well, first of all, Edwin is just like, you can see me? That's not a good sign, since Edwin's dead, he's a ghost. And if Charles can see him, that's not a good sign. At first, Charles doesn't believe that Edwin is a ghost. But he realizes, oh, this guy's serious, he really is dead. He really was here at this school from 1913 to 1916. Also explains some of the rules of being a ghost. You're able to, still grab onto solid things, but you can't feel them. Charles even questions, why aren't you falling through the floor? Edwin's just like, because I don't want to fall through the floor. Ghost rules. So, as Edwin is reading to Charles, comforting him while he's lying down on a couch, I think, Charles gets up, looks back, and sees himself. Charles is dead. He sees his own dead body. Edwin reveals that the moment he knew Charles was able to see him, he knew that there was no saving him. So Edwin actually suggested to Charles that now that you're dead, death will come for you. When you see the blue light, go towards it. She'll take you to your afterlife, and I will just be on my way, avoiding death. But Charles, he's not ready to move on, so he suggests that he sticks alongside Edwin, kind of like Daffy Duck did to Bugs Bunny. We see the blue light, but because it's a memory, it's not actually death. Wait, no, it is death. What am I talking about? We see the blue light, death has arrived, but we already know that the two of them, they avoided death. And this is the first time in this entire universe we see death's appearance signaled by a blue light. That was not the case prior, but whatever, they needed to do that to signal something else later. So the night nurse, having seen that memory, is baffled. You really gave up a life of eternal, peaceful tranquility for your friend, huh? Charles defends his friend, saying, let me ask you, the person you just saw in that memory, the person who comforted me as I died, does that look like the person who belongs in hell? So anyways, after some convincing, the night nurse opens a door to hell. But she needs to keep it open so that Charles can actually return. Thank God no demons came out of that door. Right? And also, had Crystal just stayed, she could have just ran in instead of going to look for David the demon to try to have him open a door to hell. And also, according to the night nurse, opening a door to hell is a lot of paperwork. So Charles goes into hell, and we see Edwin back in hell running for his life. He is now in the dollhouse. All of these depictions of hell, there's always several layers, which I guess makes sense. There is supposedly like 7 layers to hell. The deeper you go, the worse it is. So yeah, Edwin is now running for his life in the dollhouse. Why does hell function more like a haunted version of the back rooms, right? Like liminal back rooms, instead of a fiery pit of misery. But whatever, as Charles goes down the spiraling staircase, he encounters a woman there who's crying and doesn't know why she's there. It's actually Maxine, the woman who tried to kill Jenny a couple episodes ago. And yeah, she's still unhinged in the afterlife. She questions Charles. Why is she here? But, you know, Charles just leaves her. So Charles makes it to this lobby, hotel lobby looking place. And Charles looks at the mirror and is taken aback because Charles can actually see his reflection. Remember, they're ghosts. They have no reflection. This is the first time in who knows how long these guys have been able to see themselves. This is the first time in who knows how long Charles was able to see himself. He tries to touch the mirror, but this is hell. There is no using mirrors to quick travel. He goes up to the counter at the hell lobby, and he hesitantly rings the bell. Ringing the bell creates a lot of screaming noises. He looks back at the book, and it says, "Do not ring the bell." I'm just like, seriously? You found that out after you rung it? So Charles follows Edwin's map on how to escape. Only, like I said, he's trying to go deeper, so all he has to do is go backwards. Anyway, so the deeper Charles went, he eventually makes it to the dollhouse, where, to no surprise, there's a bunch of creepy-looking doll parts everywhere. And this is where the episode really gets excellent. Because we see Edwin running for his life. He goes into this small little room, hiding from the giant spider demon that caught him. And he runs into someone here. A character named Simon. Simon is one of the boys who played a prank on Edwin and sacrificed him to a demon. And now, Simon is here in hell, tearing pages out of a book. And he's been doing this for over a century. He was told that if he rips out all the pages, he will be free. But every time he gets close to ripping out all of the pages just reset. The book just becomes whole again. So he has been spending over a century here, ripping out pages from a book. His hands are bloodied from all the paper cuts. And there's a pile of pages. Edwin tries to tell him, "You did this. Because of what you did, you sent me here And this is your punishment, your eternal punishment. Ripping the pages out of this book. Eternal paper cuts. Edwin looks up and sees his reflection. Sees there's a ton of blood covering his face, but he sees his reflection nonetheless. But he sees in his reflection another face. Another face in the reflection. So Edwin goes closer to investigate, but then he just, completely falls into the mirror. He winds up somewhere else where this fat lady is standing behind him. Is she a demon? Is she a ghost? No. Edwin is able to tell who she is by the ring on her finger and how closely she watches through the mirror, watching Simon constantly ripping out the pages. When Edwin asks who she is, her response is, the answers are endless. This is despair of the endless. I love it. More connectivity between the two shows. We saw death of the endless show up, and now we see despair show up. And she is just drooling over the despair Simon has being tortured in hell. And also, I couldn't help but notice that Despair is wearing casual clothes. Like, very casual. She's wearing a knitted sweater. We don't really see Despair that often. We barely got to see what her realm looks like on the Sandman. But don't get me wrong, we did see what her realm looked like. It didn't look exactly like this. But, we saw the dreaming on the Sandman, obviously, and that looked different depending on where you were. So, Despair's realm has a lot of different aesthetics, I suppose. What does Despair want? She wants to send Edwin back to where Simon was so that he can keep gloating. Keep saying, this is your fault, you did this. And cause more despair. But no, Edwin chooses peace. Edwin wants to save this guy who unexpectedly got him killed. Edwin is going to try to escape hell again and offers for Simon to go with him. But Simon's just like, no. No, this is what I deserve after everything I've done to you. But Edwin, he just assures him, no, don't do that. Also, they talk about how the two of them were awkward around each other. They just wanted to be friends, but then yada yada yada. Yeah, the way the things played out. They both apologize. And Edwin tells him, if you punish yourself, everywhere becomes hell. Believe me, I know that. So Edwin gives him one last chance. Come with me and try to escape hell with me. But Simon stays put. Edwin leaves, trying to escape hell once more. And then Simon looks to the side and sees the blue light. He looks at his hands, and they're paper cut free. They're no longer bleeding. He's made it to the final page of the book. He looks to the side and sees the blue light. And I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck? Wait, he's already dead. Huh? Death should have come for him and taken him to hell. Then again, when he sacrificed Edwin in that demonic ritual, he kind of did get vaporized and instantly teleported to hell. But like, huh? Death can just show up in hell and take a soul, I assume, to heaven now that he is done? His eternal punishment? Yeah. They introduced the blue light signaling death's arrival. Just for that. Nico and the night nurse are watching the door, keeping it open so that Charles can return. Once again, very lucky of them that no demons poured out. Nico tries to ask the night nurse, hey, where's my dad? My dad's dead. Do you know where my dad is? Well, Crystal goes and sees David, and Jenny follows. Yada yada yada, they argue. So David possesses Jenny, holding the meat cleaver. And so he offers her a deal or whatnot. I will open a door to hell for you if you hurt your friend. But obviously Crystal's not going to do so. So instead, it's time to play some mind games. Crystal and David, they argue inside of their subconscious while Jenny is on the side singing for some reason. You know, they fight, but then obviously Crystal, now that she has the powers of all of her ancestors, is able to overpower David. Also, Crystal literally reaches into David's face and takes her memories back in the form of a pouch with orbs. And those orbs are her memories. I guess Inside Out wasn't kidding when memories were literal orbs. So, Crystal is able to temporarily lock David away by burying him at the ancestral plane tree. But he can't be buried there forever because it's bad for the tree. So, Crystal and Jenny, they go back home. And also, it seems like the body that we've come to know David the Demon as was just another guy possessed by David the Demon. Because the guy wakes up and it's just like, what happened? Where am I? Who are you? Very kinda Godolkin, isn't it? So Esther goes to Mick the Walrus and wants him to help her assemble a very torturous device. Because extracting all of that pain and trauma out of Edwin, that will make her young and beautiful for a long time. But Mick, he just can't do this. He can't do this horrible contraption that Esther wants. So after a quick little threatening, it seems like Mick is on board. Quick little conversation between Nico and the night nurse. She's just like, did you know that people can come back from the dead? As she reads the night nurse's journal. And she's just like, honey, in your world, it's called the undead. Or what you know as zombies. It is possible, but you don't want that. So Edwin and Charles, after avoiding some of those, like, misery demons we saw a couple episodes ago, which were really bad looking CGI, look pretty out of place, he finds Edwin. But once Charles runs towards Edwin with a heart full of glee, Edwin gets swooped up by the giant demonic spider thing. My god, it's horrific. Charles runs after Edwin, finds him again, but then it's like, hey, what happened to all the blood that was on your body? Edwin says that was his previous body. And we see just what happens. The giant demon spider made out of dolls tears Edwin's body apart, feeding on it, and then, because he's dead and he's in hell, he just respawns. And every time the giant demon spider, made out of dolls, catches Edwin, tears him apart very painfully, and the cycle continues. They need to be very quiet, otherwise it'll happen again. So Charles has an idea. He has his infinite bag of goodies, so he comes up with... He pulls out distractions for the spider. And so they run for dear life. They make it, you know, to the higher and higher levels to escape hell. And I'm just like, wow. It actually seems pretty easy to escape hell, given where they were. Just make it past a couple obstacles, go up a couple levels, and damn, you can just leave. But now that they're going back up, things are different from when Charles first was here. He makes it back to the first level up, and we see maybe the sin of gluttony. Because everyone is stuffing their face, absolutely going crazy, dining in to the point they throw up, like uncontrollable hunger. They just keep on eating until they throw up. The next level, I can't tell if this is pain or pleasure. We see a ton of people in their underwear, covered in blood, moving around, moaning. I can't tell if it's a blood orgy or, you know, it didn't look like they were being torn apart. But they're covered in blood in what looks like a butcher shop, like a meat hook place. So I assume it's not that great. Alright, back to the lobby level where a bunch of people are doing the mannequin challenge. Everyone is frozen in place. Charles offers to ring the bell, but Edwin's like, no, it causes them more pain. Damn, that's quite a unfortunate fate. You're dead, you're in hell, and you are frozen. Unable to move, unable to do anything, and that's forever. And then we see one poor woman just standing still, frozen, with a tear coming down her eye. Alright, so the two of them are hauling ass, climbing up the stairs. Edwin, he's exhausted, so he needs to take a breather, and yes, they do run past Maxine. Haven't heard the mannequin challenge since 2016? I know, right? I saw a video saying things that will become 10 years old this year. It showed the mannequin challenge, and I'm just like, holy shit, I forgot all about the mannequin challenge. So yeah, so these two idiots stop running out? Like, stop running up the stairs to make it out of hell? To have a conversation? Boys, you're in hell. Shouldn't this happen when you're out? But whatever, Edwin's just like, I have something I need to tell you. And just in case I don't have a chance to tell you again, I'm gonna tell you this now. So, Edwin just straight up confesses that he's in love with Charles. But Charles, he doesn't know if he feels the same way yet. So, wasting all that time, the spider demon actually has a chance to almost catch up to them. So they really need to haul ass and leave. They make it just in time. They make it past the door, they close it, and the spider demon is just stopped. Like, what's stopping that spider monster from just bashing through the wall and just taking Edwin again? Whatever. So Nico goes and grabs Crystal to tell her the good news that the boys are back. But it seems like maybe Crystal told Jenny everything. So her mind is kind of blown. So the night nurse is just super giddy. Just cannot hold her excitement. Like, all right, you're both here. Let's go. Lost and found department. Yeah, let's go. But of course, everyone doesn't want them to go. So Nico actually pulls a pretty big brain move and points out that in the night nurse's journal, it says, hey, there's this one paragraph right here that says, if any deceased ghosts go to a different plane before going to the afterlife, or whatever, doesn't there have to be paperwork that is filed before you can transport them to their afterlife? So the night nurse is just like, shit! I can't take these boys yet. Fine. You can have whatever little time you have left while I take this to my superior, and I'll be back. I'll be back for you. So we get our little ending montage. Nico shakes her magic 8-ball, and the message is not that positive. The night nurse is going towards her superior, but we don't see who the superior is. Crystal gets her memories back by literally eating them, swallows the orbs that contain her memories, and then when she does eat them, her eyes glow, and then we just get a screen that says, to be continued. Not gonna lie, out of all the episodes so far, this was easily the best one. Alright, well, I'm about to end this. Thanks for joining again, Agent. It's been a while since I last saw you. But it seems like no shinies again tonight. Next time, we will discuss the final episode of Dead Boy Detectives. Damn, how quickly it came and gone. Alright, one last encounter, and then I'll call it for tonight. Indeed, time flies. No shiny again tonight. I'll see you guys next time.